Thousands of trucks ready for sale, just sitting unused in lots.
5 million trucks are being dumped this month. Prices are in free fall, and the people buying today are walking straight into a financial trap they'll regret all year. Dealerships across the country are packed with unsold inventory.
A tsunami of supersized American-style pickup trucks are hitting Melbourne roads as sales reach record levels.
Rows of chrome, dust, and panic. Manufacturers are desperate to unload them before floor plan interest destroys their margins. Every passing day, discounts get deeper, but only for those who know when to strike. Which brands are collapsing first? Why are insiders already slashing prices before the headlines hit? And how low will it go before the market resets completely? They built too many. They told us demand was booming. So why are millions of pickup trucks rotting in the sun, baking in silent lots from Texas to Ohio? We all saw this coming. Prices soared faster than wages, interest rates climbed, and yet the factories kept stamping metal like nothing had changed. The executives called it confidence in the market. We call it what it really was: greed. They kept production running because bonuses depended on volume, not wisdom. Wall Street wanted record shipments, and management wanted to show strength even as families stopped qualifying for loans. They flooded lots with trucks that cost more than small houses, pretending the bubble would never burst. But now, the bubble is visible to anyone driving past a dealership. Stickers peeling, dust settling on hoods, and salespeople pacing like ghosts. Local dealers are drowning in vehicles they cannot move. Their financing bills rise every single day the trucks sit unsold, while regular people drive by, shaking their heads. We were told these vehicles were built for us, but the truth is they were built for spreadsheets. This is what happens when corporations mistake production for prosperity. But the real crash wasn't caused by buyers walking away. It was lit by politicians pretending to protect us. Tariffs torched prices. Remember those tariffs that were going to bring manufacturing back? They just made trucks unaffordable. Politicians wrapped it in patriotic language, promising to defend American workers. What they delivered was sticker shock. Overnight, import duties split prices between trucks built in the United States and those assembled in Mexico or Canada. Two identical models rolled off different lines and somehow ended up $10,000 apart. Same frame, same engine, different country. Make it make sense. Buyers noticed fast. Ordinary folks became detectives, scanning vehicle identification numbers like crime scenes. Online forums popped up where drivers shared spreadsheets exposing which plants made which trims. A new phrase entered our vocabulary: factory code shopping. It wasn't just about saving money. It was about not feeling played. We started sharing data, not waiting for analysts or news anchors. We learned the truth ourselves and passed it around like a warning label. Manufacturers tried to spin it. They said tariffs would level the field, but what they leveled were paychecks. People stopped trusting price tags, and when trust dies, so do sales. Shoppers waited, betting that confusion would force discounts, and they were right. The very rule meant to protect jobs became the spark that burned through profit margins. While we were busy decoding prices, the dealerships were fighting for their lives, and that's where we got our first real leverage. If you've made it this far, you already see what most people are missing. Hit like so more buyers wake up before it's too late, and drop a comment below. Share what you're seeing in your area, because your story might save someone thousands before the crash spreads further. Showrooms gone silent. Walk into a showroom today and you'll hear it. Nothing. Just silence echoing between banners that say Truck Month in faded red letters. The coffee on the sales desks is cold because nobody's drinking it. The phones ring less, the footsteps are slower, and the only sound is air conditioning pushing against hope. For years, dealers controlled the game. Now they're begging us to play. Behind that silence sits a simple problem called floor plan financing. Dealers borrow money from banks to keep inventory on the lot, paying daily interest on every single truck that doesn't sell. Every sunrise costs them more. When those bills pile up, desperation takes over. Salespeople chase customers into parking lots. "Make me an offer," they whisper, like a secret they're not supposed to share. Suddenly, we hold the cards. For the first time in decades, buyers have the upper hand. We can walk away, and they know it. Every unsold truck is leverage for us. The longer we wait, the lower the price drops. Families who couldn't dream of a new pickup last year are finding deals that seemed impossible. This isn't just a sale, it's a reckoning. But the real explosion isn't happening on sales floors. It's in the factories still churning out trucks no one wants. Factories on fire. For decades, pickups carried Detroit. They were the pride of American industry, the money engines that funded everything from small sedans to electric dreams. Now they're dragging the whole system down. Inside the plants, management faces an impossible choice: cut production and risk layoffs, or keep building and watch billions evaporate. Either path is pain, and as usual, the people sweating on the assembly lines feel it first. Workers who once bragged about overtime are watching shifts disappear. Some plants are running half capacity, others idle entire sections waiting for orders that never come. Executives tell them to hang tight, the same phrase every worker has heard before a layoff. It's the cruel rhythm of modern manufacturing. When leadership gambles, labor pays the debt. We've all been there. Different jobs, same story. The higher-ups collect bonuses, while the crew wonders if the next paycheck is their last. It's not just numbers on a balance sheet, it's families, mortgages, and pride on the line. The trucks that once symbolized American strength now symbolize corporate blindness. Still, the assembly lines hum on, producing vehicles with no destination. Detroit is burning cash to prove confidence it doesn't have. But every blaze eventually finds an accelerant. Then came the shock that changed everything. An electric truck priced so low, it made the entire market look like a joke. The $20,000 shock. One cheap electric truck just proved every overpriced pickup was a scam. For years, automakers told us affordability was impossible, that new technology, safety standards, and premium experiences made high prices unavoidable. Then, out of nowhere, a stripped-down electric model dropped below $20,000 after incentives, and the illusion shattered overnight. It wasn't fancy. It didn't have massaging seats or holographic dashboards. It was just a plain, tough truck that did the job. And it was proof that we were right all along. They could have built affordable trucks years ago. They just didn't want to. Buyers looked at that price and laughed, not because it was too good to be true, but because it showed how long we'd been played. Suddenly, that $70,000 luxury pickup didn't feel like pride. It felt like a punchline. Tesla had promised a revolution with the Cybertruck, only to deliver delays and price hikes. Ford hyped the Lightning, but its cost ballooned out of reach. Meanwhile, this little newcomer rolled in quietly and embarrassed them all. It wasn't about features anymore. It was about fairness. Once that truck hit the market, the conversation changed. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about dignity. But once that illusion shattered, the outrage went from price tags to pride. Trucks for the few. They turned our work trucks into rolling spas and kicked us out of the driver's seat. For decades, a pickup meant grit. It meant hard work, early mornings, and dirt under the fingernails. But somewhere along the line, they forgot who built their brands. Trucks became luxury toys, coated in chrome and ego. Heated tailgates, holographic dashboards, 20-inch screens, you name it. Every add-on made the price climb, and every new feature seemed less about the job and more about showing off. Buyers didn't ask for any of it. Mechanics, welders, and contractors just wanted reliability, not reclining rear seats and wireless ambient lighting. On social media, one viral clip said it best: "I don't need a spaceship, I need a truck." That line wasn't a joke. It was a confession from millions who felt priced out of something that used to define them. The divide grew wider with every marketing campaign that pushed executive luxury over honest utility. They weren't selling work trucks anymore. They were selling status symbols. But pride runs deeper than profit. The people who kept these brands alive, farmers, builders, delivery drivers, started pushing back. They began asking the question that changed everything. If these trucks aren't made for us, who are they made for? So we did what they never expected. We fought back with spreadsheets. The spreadsheet rebellion. Turns out the revolution didn't need pitchforks, just Google Sheets. While automakers threw money at ads, buyers started doing something smarter, sharing information. Real people began tracking VIN data, factory origins, discounts, and hidden incentives. Within months, entire online communities turned into open databases that mapped out every deal in the country. If one dealer dropped the price by $3,000, someone posted it that night. If another offered a secret rebate, screenshots spread before breakfast. The old system of every buyer for themselves was gone. They thought we'd stay quiet, but we built our own network. Together, we exposed the markup games, the fake 0% financing offers, and the phony trade-in bonuses that hid the real numbers. For the first time in decades, everyday shoppers had more data than the salesman. Dealers panicked because information kills control. Margins collapsed, and the old tactics stopped working. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just a place to complain. It became the weapon that leveled the field. The best part? It wasn't led by experts or journalists. It was led by us, people who refused to be tricked one more time. But while we were reclaiming power online, automakers were planning something offline that could reset everything. The 2026 reset. They finally admitted what we knew. They can build affordable trucks when they have no choice. Inside the boardrooms, panic turned into planning. Executives who once swore luxury was the only way forward began sketching a different future. Stripped down, modular trucks designed to be built faster and cheaper. Gone were the chrome grills and oversized touchscreens. In their place came basic interiors, simplified drivetrains, and fewer unnecessary gadgets. The plan was clear. By 2026, a new wave of trucks would hit the market at prices families could actually afford again. They called it the reset. We called it overdue. The industry had squeezed the working class dry, and now it was paying the price. Analysts warned buyers to act fast before the new models arrived, but ordinary people did the math themselves. Why buy a $70,000 truck today when you could wait 2 years and get the same capability for $20,000 less? That's the new 2-year math, and it's rewriting the entire entire market. Patience has become rebellion. Waiting isn't hesitation, it's power. The smartest buyers aren't just saving money, they're sending a message. We decide what fair looks like. But while we wait, something bigger is breaking. The empire of luxury trucks that ruled for decades. The luxury truck meltdown. The trucks that once printed money are now gathering dust. For more than a decade, high-end trims like the Denali, Platinum, and Tungsten were Detroit's golden idols. They sold dreams of power wrapped in stitched leather and chrome, drawing in customers who wanted to feel unstoppable. But that era is over. Those six-figure trophies now sit on lots for months, their shine fading under the weight of reality. The empire built on prestige has crumbled into a clearance rack. What used to be pride has become panic. Dealers who once bragged about wait lists are now whispering about discounts of $15,000 or $20,000 just to move inventory. These were trucks that symbolized status. Now they symbolize surrender. The buyers who stretched loans to afford them are discovering the cruel math of depreciation. They owe more than the trucks are worth. Negative equity has become a trap, not a temporary setback. For the first time, even wealthy buyers are hesitating. Leasing has collapsed, resale values have crashed, and the luxury truck, the icon of American success, has turned into a financial warning. The bubble didn't burst with a bang. It deflated slowly, quietly, until everyone could see what the silence meant. And when the profits vanished, Wall Street finally woke up. Wall Street's panic button. When the easy money dried up, the suits finally cared. For years, Wall Street treated trucks like an endless fountain of cash. Every quarter, executives bragged about record profits and fat dividends. But when the numbers turned red, the panic spread faster than a factory recall. Trucks were their cash cows, and suddenly the milk was sour. Investors who once praised Detroit's pricing power started dumping shares like hot coal. The decline wasn't just financial, it was emotional. For decades, the story was that trucks were untouchable, that Americans would always pay more for muscle. When that illusion cracked, the market lost faith. Analysts slashed forecasts and capital evaporated. Electric vehicle projects, once celebrated as the future, were quietly delayed or canceled. Cash flow shrank, stock prices tumbled, and confidence collapsed. What happened on dealership lots was bad. But what happened on Wall Street was worse. It exposed the truth that the business model itself was broken. And here's the part the media barely covered. They gambled with our jobs. The same people who pushed overproduction to please shareholders are now cutting costs to protect them. The people building the trucks are paying for the mistakes of the people who financed them. It's a brutal cycle of greed repeating itself, and when profits vanish, politics rushes in to save face. And that's when it got ugly. You've seen how deep this goes, and this is only the beginning. Hit subscribe right now, because the next wave isn't months away. It's already forming. When it hits, you'll want the facts before the headlines. Tariffs turned into ballots. Truck prices have become campaign slogans. What started as an economic story has turned into a political battlefield. Politicians promised tariffs would save American jobs, waving flags and chanting about national pride. But the same policies that were meant to protect workers ended up punishing buyers. In factory towns across Michigan, Texas, and Ohio, frustration is boiling over. Identical trucks now carry different price tags depending on where they were built. And voters see it as proof that the system is rigged. In some towns, rallies once held to celebrate Made in America now sound like protests. Workers chant not for protection, but for fairness. Layoffs, reduced shifts, and plant closures have turned those promises into empty slogans. People who once voted for tariffs now blame them for making trucks unaffordable. Governors are dodging questions, mayors are begging for relief, and families are stuck in the middle of an argument that was supposed to help them. It's not just one party's problem anymore, it's everyone's. The anger crosses lines and divides that used to be solid. Red states, blue states, it doesn't matter. When truck payments crush paychecks, people stop caring about speeches and start caring about survival. Tariffs became the shorthand for betrayal, and every candidate knows it. And while politicians argued, the people who actually build the trucks decided they'd had enough. Workers draw the line. When the line stops moving, America stops moving. Inside the plants, frustration has turned into fire. The same workers who kept production alive through pandemics and shortages are now facing layoffs, shorter hours, and empty promises. Overtime is gone, bonuses vanished, and temporary suspensions are becoming permanent. The message is clear. Executives gambled, and workers are paying the bill. You can feel the tension in the break rooms. Conversations that once drifted toward football and weekend plans now circle around job security and bills. In Fort Wayne, temporary contracts were cut with a single email. In Flint, a second shift was paused indefinitely. Every decision trickles down from the top, but lands hardest on the bottom. Yet amid the fear, there's pride, because the workers know the truth. They are the backbone of an industry that has lost its balance. Different jobs, same story. The people who make the products hold the least power until they decide they've had enough. And now, they have. Unions are growing louder, pushing for guaranteed hours and protections against automation. The message from the factory floor is clear. They can't build without us, and we're done being ignored. What happens next isn't just about trucks. It's about the value of work itself, and the fight to keep it human. But this fight won't stay inside factories. The ripple hits every buyer, every paycheck, and every country watching us stumble. Competitors smell blood. While Detroit fights itself, the world is moving in. The collapse of America's pickup empire has opened a door that foreign automakers have been waiting decades to walk through. Toyota, once the polite guest at the truck table, now sees an opening wide enough to drive a factory through. Chinese brands, backed by state incentives and relentless ambition, are preparing to flood the market with low-cost pickups that make Detroit's bloated prices look laughable. Even small startups, companies most people have never heard of, are prototyping electric work trucks priced for the people, not the executives. For years, American automakers mocked the idea that anyone could challenge their dominance. They laughed off imports, saying that loyalty would protect them. But loyalty ends when prices double and paychecks don't. This is more than competition. It's payback for decades of arrogance. While Detroit chased luxury margins, the rest of the world studied our market, learned our weaknesses, and waited for the right moment. That moment is now. The message to viewers is simple. If we don't demand better, they'll just import it instead. The next wave of affordable, durable trucks won't carry familiar badges. They'll come from places that listened to what workers actually need. The badge on the grill may change, but the meaning behind it won't. Value, purpose, and pride. And what makes it sting most is that these newcomers are giving people exactly what we asked for: simplicity, honesty, and price transparency. They listened while our own automakers ignored us. Now every affordable foreign truck rolling off a ship feels less like competition and more like a lesson we refuse to learn. But this isn't just about trucks anymore. It's about who we are as buyers and as a country, reclaiming the truck's soul. We're taking back what trucks used to mean. Once, they were more than vehicles. They were tools, lifelines, extensions of our work and identity. But somewhere between the chrome and the software, they lost their soul. Now, after years of inflated prices and broken promises, something remarkable is happening. Ordinary people are leading a quiet revolution, turning away from luxury for luxury's sake and rediscovering the beauty of practicality. The new generation of buyers isn't ashamed of wanting value. They wear it like a badge of honor. They see through the marketing. They don't need a holographic dashboard to haul lumber or tow a trailer. What they need is reliability, honesty, and function. That's not settling. It's returning to sanity. Across social media, videos of stripped-down trucks, basic interiors, manual windows, and steel wheels are going viral. It's not nostalgia, it's pride. People are proud to choose something real again. Affordability is no longer a compromise. It's a movement. Every buyer who walks away from an overpriced trim level is voting with their wallet for a new kind of truck culture, one grounded in authenticity. We're reminding the industry that value isn't cheap, it's earned. And for the first time in years, consumers are the ones rewriting what premium means. And you can feel it everywhere, from small towns to job sites. People are proud again, not because of luxury, but because of logic. It's no longer about impressing anyone. It's about belonging to something real. Every practical choice now feels like quiet defiance against decades of corporate excess. And once people saw waiting and walking away worked, they started doing the math. The 2-year rule. Patience isn't passive, it's powerful. For the first time in modern car history, waiting to buy has become the smartest financial move an American family can make. Let's break down why. A buyer who spends $70,000 on a new truck today could lose nearly $25,000 in value within 2 years when the 2026 reset models hit. Waiting just 24 months means that same buyer could save enough for a year of mortgage payments, or pay off credit card debt, or build a college fund. That's not small change. That's freedom disguised as strategy. Across online communities, people are comparing spreadsheets, showing exactly how much they'll save by waiting. It's not theory. It's math that the automakers never expected us to run. The longer we hold out, the more leverage we gain. Every unsold truck collecting dust on a lot is proof that patience works. The industry relies on impulse and fear, but now the fear is theirs. By turning patience into power, consumers have broken the cycle that once controlled them. The old rule, buy now before prices rise, has collapsed under its own weight. We finally understand that value isn't about timing the market, it's about outlasting it. The smartest buyers are playing the long game, and the automakers can't stand it. And that discipline is contagious. Friends share spreadsheets. Families calculate depreciation together. Communities form around the idea of financial patience. treating it like a quiet revolution. Waiting isn't fear, it's strategy. And every person who resists buying now weakens the system that inflated prices in the first place. But if you have to buy now, there's still one battlefield left, and you can win it. Negotiation warfare? They built the trap. Here's how you walk out richer. The dealerships, the markups, the hidden rebates. It's all designed to confuse you into overpaying. But in 2025, buyers aren't walking in blind anymore. We know the playbook, and we've learned to flip it. The key is preparation. Start with VIN checks to see exactly where the truck was built. That knowledge alone can save you thousands. Time your visit at the end of the month, when salespeople are desperate to hit quotas. Ask for rebates in writing, and never trade convenience for clarity. The most powerful tactic isn't a number, it's the walk away. When you're willing to leave, they're forced to chase you. Every person who refuses a bad deal pushes the market closer to fairness. This isn't about one sale, it's about setting a precedent. Dealers call it negotiation fatigue. We call it justice. This new era of negotiation isn't just about getting a discount, it's about reclaiming respect. Every buyer who stands firm becomes part of a larger movement, one built on transparency and collective strength. Remember, they built the flood, but we'll decide who survives it. Because when the next reset hits, we won't be waiting, we'll be ready. They built the flood, but we learned to swim. What's coming next isn't fear, it's clarity. The market's shifting, the truth's out, and now you know how to move first. Stay alert, stay sharp, and never buy blind again. The next reset's coming fast, and this time, we're ready.